Hello and welcome. I am your senior wellness guide, and today we are going to break the silence on a few topics that many men, especially those over 50, think about often but rarely, if ever, say out loud. Let's be honest. Have you ever been watching a movie or browsing online and wondered, how do those guys in adult films seem to be on, perfect, and ready every single time? What is their secret? Have you ever stood in the bathroom, perhaps late at night, and wondered why your urine stream suddenly has a mind of its own, splitting in two directions or feeling weaker than it used to? Or perhaps the most frustrating question of all, why, in a moment of intimacy, a moment you want to be present for, does your mind suddenly fill with worry? Why does the fear of not being good enough suddenly cause your body to stop responding, letting you and your partner down? If you've nodded along to any of this, let me be the first to tell you, you are not alone. And more importantly, you are not broken. For too long, these common concerns have been shrouded in shame and silence. Men are taught to tough it out, to ignore the signals, or to blame themselves when their bodies don't perform like they did at 25. But here, we don't deal in shame. We deal in facts, in biology, and in practical habits for longevity. These aren't embarrassing questions. They are vital signs. They are your body's way of communicating with you. The anxiety you feel is a biological response, not a personal failure. The secret in those movies is a myth, but the real secret to your own vitality is very achievable. And that changing urine stream, it is a check engine light, a dashboard warning that we need to pay attention to, not to fear. Today, we are going to tackle all three of these questions. We are going to replace that anxiety with knowledge, and that worry with an actionable plan. Because true vitality after 50 isn't about unrealistic performance. It's about understanding your body, mastering your mind, and building habits that give you energy, confidence, and peace. So let's begin with the most common and perhaps the most painful of these issues. The one that happens in your head. The anxiety loop, when your mind betrays your body. We've all been there. You are with your partner. You are connected. But then, a thought creeps in. Am I doing this right? Am I taking too long? And then the big one. What if I lose my erection? The moment that thought enters your mind, a cascade of events begins. This is what we call performance anxiety, and it is a vicious, self-fulfilling prophecy. Here is the biology, and it is crucial to understand. Your body has two primary operating systems. The first is the parasympathetic nervous system. This is your rest and digest state. It's the state of calm, connection, and arousal. To get and maintain an erection, your body must be in this parasympathetic state, allowing blood vessels to relax and open wide. The second is the sympathetic nervous system. This is your fight or flight state. This is your survival system. When your brain perceives a threat, whether it's a tiger in the jungle or the fear of failure in the bedroom, it floods your body with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Here is the key. These two systems cannot be dominant at the same time. You cannot be in fight or flight and rest and digest simultaneously. When your brain worries, what if I fail? It perceives that as a threat. Instantly, it hits the fight or flight panic button. Your body is flooded with cortisol, your heart rate quickens, and most importantly, your blood vessels constrict. They tighten up, diverting blood away from your extremities and your genitals and sending it to your major muscles, preparing you to run or fight. In that state, your nervous system is telling your penis, this is not a safe time for sex. And just like that, the erection fades. It's not a physical flaw. It is a perfectly executed, albeit misplaced, biological survival response. After 50, this loop gets tighter. Why? Because we have more history. Maybe one night, things did take a bit longer. Maybe a new medication, or fatigue, or just a little too much wine caused a slight delay. This is a perfectly normal physiological event. But your brain logs it. It creates a file labeled potential failure. The next time you're intimate, your brain opens that file and asks, is it going to happen again? That single question is all it takes to trigger the sympathetic fight-or-flight response, and the cycle begins. So, how do we break it? We must manually flip the switch back to the rest and digest state. First, you must reframe the goal. The goal is not a performance. This is not an Olympic event, and your partner is not a judge. The goal is connection. The moment you shift your focus from performance to connection, the pressure evaporates. Second, use your breath. This is the most direct tool you have to control your nervous system. When you feel that anxiety rise, stop. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 6. This simple act manually signals to your brain that you are safe. It physically short-circuits the panic response and re-engages the parasympathetic system. Third, get out of your head and into your body. Performance anxiety makes you a spectator of your own actions. You're up in your head, watching yourself, judging. The antidote is sensation. Focus, with all your might, on the feeling of your partner's skin. The sound of their breathing, the taste of their lips, the scent of their hair. When you fully occupy your senses, there is no room left for worry. This is a practice. It takes time. But understanding that this is a biological loop, not a personal failing, is the first and most powerful step to breaking it. The porn star myth versus longevity reality. Now, let's address that second question, the one that creates so much unrealistic comparison, the secret of those on-screen performers. I am going to tell you the secret right now. It is not biology. It is a business. It is a carefully produced, staged, and edited illusion. Comparing your real-life intimate moments to what you see in those films is like comparing your daily walk to an Olympic marathon. The men you see on screen are not representative of the average man. First, there is intense selection bias. Only men at the extreme end of the genetic spectrum are typically cast. Second, it is a film set. They use camera angles, lighting, and editing to exaggerate appearance. And third, and most importantly, they are often using a host of medical aids to guarantee performance under the hot lights and pressure of a film crew. This includes everything from vacuum pumps and traction devices to temporary dermal fillers for girth, and, of course, a heavy reliance on medications like sildenafil or tadalafil. In some cases, performers even have surgical implants. It is a staged performance, not a biological reality. So please, let go of that comparison. It is a game you cannot win, and it is based on a false premise. Now, let's talk about the real secret. The true secret to lasting sexual vitality, especially as we age, is not a trick. It is not a pill. The real secret is blood flow. Your sexual health is a direct and unfiltered reflection of your cardiovascular health. The penis is, at its core, a hydraulic system. It requires strong, healthy, and flexible blood vessels to allow a rush of blood to enter and, just as importantly, to stay there. The arteries in the penis are among the smallest in your entire body. They are often the first place to show signs of trouble. This is why erectile dysfunction is now considered a significant early warning sign for future heart disease. Your body is sending you a message. The key to this entire system is a wonderful molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a gas produced by the lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium. Its job is to tell your arteries to relax, to open up, to become wide and flexible. When you are young, your body produces nitric oxide in abundance. As we age, production naturally declines, and our modern lifestyles, high stress, poor diet, lack of exercise, cause it to plummet even faster. So, the real longevity habit, the real secret to performance, is to naturally boost your body's production of nitric oxide and support your entire cardiovascular system. How do we do this? First, you eat for your arteries. This is a non-negotiable. You want to eat foods rich in nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide. This means dark leafy greens. Think spinach, arugula, and kale. Beets are perhaps the most powerful nitric oxide booster on the planet. A small glass of beet juice can have a profound, immediate effect. Also, garlic, dark chocolate, over 70% cacao, and nuts like walnuts are fantastic. Second, you must move, but not just any movement. Consistent, moderate exercise is key. Walking 30 minutes a day, every day, is one of an anti-aging habits. It trains your blood vessels to stay flexible and focus on your legs, squats, lunges, or even just climbing stairs. Your legs are your second heart. When you work those large muscles, you force your body to pump blood through your entire system, cleaning and strengthening your arteries as you go. Third, you must manage the stress we just talked about. Chronic stress and high cortisol are the enemies of nitric oxide. They cause inflammation and stiffness in your arteries. This is why the breathwork and mindfulness we discussed earlier aren't just for your brain. They are for your blood vessels too. That is the real secret. It's not a quick fix. It is a commitment to your long-term health. But the reward is not just better performance in the bedroom. It's a healthier heart, a clearer mind, and a more vibrant life. Your body's dashboard, what your urine stream is telling you. Finally, let's address that third question, the one that happens in the bathroom and causes a quiet, creeping sense of worry. The split or weakening urine stream. Let's get one thing out of the way. If this happens once or twice, especially in the morning or after intimacy, it is almost always harmless. It's usually caused by a bit of dried fluid or mucus temporarily blocking the urethra, the hose. However, if you are over 50 and you notice a persistent change in your urinary habits, this is not something to ignore. Think of it as a check engine light on your car's dashboard. You don't panic, but you do get it checked. For men in our age group, a persistent split, weak, or hesitant stream is almost always pointing to one place: your prostate. The prostate is a small gland that sits just below the bladder and wraps around the urethra. As men age, for reasons mostly related to hormonal changes, the prostate has a tendency to keep growing. This is an incredibly common, non-cancerous condition called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. Imagine your urethra is a garden hose. Now, imagine the prostate as a fist wrapped around that hose. As BPH develops, that fist slowly squeezes the hose. What is the result? You have to strain to get the stream started. The stream itself is weak. When you're finished, you experience dribbling. And, most significantly, you can't fully empty your bladder. This leads to the most disruptive symptom of all: waking up 2, 3, or even 4 times a night to urinate. Your bladder fills up, but you can only get a little bit out, so it fills up again quickly. This is far more than just an annoyance. This chronic, broken sleep is a fast track to low energy, brain fog, high blood sugar, and, ironically, low testosterone and poor sexual function. It all feeds back into that negative loop. So, what is the action plan? First, and this is the most important, see your doctor. A simple conversation and a few non-invasive tests can give you a clear diagnosis. It's crucial to get a checkup to rule out anything more serious and to confirm if it is BPH. This is what it means to take control of your health. Second, adjust your hydration timing. Don't stop drinking water. Your body needs it. But front-load your hydration. Drink plenty of water during the morning and afternoon, and then, about 2 hours before bed, stop. Taper off your fluid intake. This gives your bladder a chance to be empty when you go to sleep. Third, look at your diet. Certain foods can support prostate health. Foods rich in lycopene, an antioxidant, are fantastic. The best source is cooked tomatoes, tomato sauce, tomato paste. Zinc is also a vital mineral for prostate health, found in high concentrations in pumpkin seeds. Fourth, Avoid bladder irritants, especially in the evening. The two biggest culprits are caffeine and alcohol. They can make your bladder more twitchy and increase the urge to go. The path forward, a new definition of vitality. So, let's bring this all together. We've looked at 3 of the most private worries that men carry, and we've brought them into the light. We've learned that performance anxiety is not a weakness, but a biological fight or flight response that we can control with our breath and our focus. We've learned that the secrets we see on screen are a harmful myth, and that the real secret to lasting vitality is the daily habit of supporting our blood flow through diet, movement, and stress management. And we've learned that physical changes, like a weak urine stream, are not a reason to panic, but a clear signal from our body to pay attention and take simple, proactive steps for our prostate health. If you have worried about any of these things, I want to say it one more time. You are not broken. You are not less of a man. You are simply a man whose body is asking for care, for attention, and for understanding. This is the new definition of masculinity and vitality as we age. It is not about living up to an impossible standard of performance. It is about energy. It is about resilience. It is about having the confidence to be present with your partner. And it is about having the peace of mind that comes from listening to your body and taking care of the one magnificent machine you have been given. Your health is a journey, not a test. Start with one small habit. Start by focusing on connection, not performance. Start by adding a handful of spinach to your breakfast. Start by scheduling that checkup you've been putting off. You have the knowledge. Now you have the power to create a plan. Thank you for walking this path with me today.